Yeah, look at this. I got the Hawaii one too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got the New York City one.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers, man.
Yeah.
More life.
Cheers.
Choppin It Up Show, episode 7. We're here with my boy Nico. And here we go. We starting the show, baby.
What up?
So, the funny thing with this whole episode, lucky number 7, is I was like, yo, I did this much episodes and I filmed this much. I was like, yo, might as well get somebody that's Filipino and, you know, someone who looks like me, right? Why can't be
Yo,
Nico?
representation matters, man.
Yes,
Representation matters.
Brown lives matter too, man.
Exactly.
All right. Well, anyway, so Nico, tell the people, you know, a little bit about yourself, where you're from, you know, what you do, and you know, it's a little just let them know.
Yeah, man. Well, if you don't know, I'm fine. So I was born in San Diego, California. I was born here in this house. I was born and raised here. I started dance. So before I started dancing, it was actually my parents. I'm an only child. I like when people are like surprised by that, because that means that I don't act like an only child, which you know,
that's a good thing.
You know what I mean? When I tell them I'm an only child, they're like, "You're an only child?"
Ugh.
I'm like, "Yeah, I'm an only child." That's good that you didn't think that. But no, my parents. I was a hyper child. I'm sure like all of us were. And my parents put me in a bunch of things. It was like soccer, karate, gymnastics, and the thing that stuck was roller hockey. And
roller hockey, what?
bro, come on! I know you're from the East Coast, so hockey was an actual thing. We're from the West Coast here, where we don't have where we don't, you know, it isn't, you know, no, but it was so yeah, roller hockey, and so I actually played in like California State Games and was a silver medalist and stuff. And
what?
My parents, and so while I was doing that, my parents actually put me in dance classes. So I started dancing when I was 4. My parents put me at a rec center. It was a free hip hop dance class.
And you were 4 years old.
I was like, yes, I believe I was like 4 or something like that.
Okay.
And my parents threw me in that class, and they're like, oh, he's actually pretty good at dancing. So it was my dad having to take me from roller hockey practice and games to taking me to my dance classes where I put on tights and ballet shoes. Like
Legit dance classes.
It was legit dance classes. So it was like I was switching between the two. My parents were like, this is getting to be too much. And once you get in high school, Nico, we have to decide, do you want to go to performing arts high school, or do you want to go to like a strict Catholic,
like a regular
Catholic high school where you can focus on athletics? And I chose dance. More girls in dance, bro.
Big facts, bro.
Facts.
There's some moves in your
Facts,
body,
bro. Facts. But no, man. So I went to San Diego School of Creative Performing Arts, right down the street from here. It's like a 5-minute drive from here.
Oh damn, it's mad close too.
Yeah, mad close. And it was a magnet school, so there were kids getting imported in from like all over San Diego.
What?
There were kids from La Jolla. There were kids from all over. So I went to Performing Arts High School, went there from 6th, so it was actually a middle school / high school. It was 6th through 12th grade.
Oh shit.
So yeah, I was there all from 6th through 12th, and while I was there, I was doing some, I was doing commercial work. I was a kid actor.
Oh wow,
yeah,
you got the whole fucking package.
Oh bro, I was on like WB commercials. Like they had me doing stuff with like Yu-Gi-Oh.
No way.
On Warner Brothers. Yeah, bro, I would like dance.
I'm about to Google this shit later.
Dude, bro, find that shit. And then something that I don't really talk about, but like that people are like freak out about when I tell them. If you ever saw do you remember the Jay-Z video H to the Izzo?
Yes.
Remember the kid in the beginning that's rapping and
That's you?
That's me.
Get the fuck out of
Yeah, bro, the kid that's rapping.
You're my hero, man.
Yeah, man.
I always wanted to be that Asian kid, yo. Yo, that was my dream role.
Yeah, bro, that was me. So the kid that's rapping in the grocery store, that was me.
Yo, I can't.
And for the record too, and when your podcast and this shit gets big, Jay-Z, if you're watching this, bro,
I cut that.
Hova, if you are watching this right now, they told me that you were running late that day.
Oh my god, you put it on my
So I didn't get to meet you, bro. They played your video at the Billboard Awards, and my ass was on the Billboard Awards, and your video was nominated. So Hova, if you are listening to this right now, hit me up, bro. Hit me up. I gotta meet you. You owe me a handshake, bro. You owe me a handshake, man. I'm looking right in the camera right now. Hova, hit me up, dude. Hit me up.
Yo, this
Nico DeJesus, hit me up. All right.
This podcast is starting to be the craziest one so far. Like, my mind is like.
So yeah, man. So I was doing all that stuff. I was working a bunch and then doing like TV stuff. I was driving between San Diego and LA. All throughout, my dad was driving me. I wasn't. My dad was driving me from San Diego to LA like almost every day for auditions and whenever I booked jobs. And so my parents asked me, like, what do you want to do for school? And I honestly had no idea what I wanted to do yet. I had a feeling I knew I wanted to dance because all throughout high school, like that was the thing. People were telling me, you can do this. You can actually do this. And it was hard because I'm not the tallest guy. I'm not per se the prototypical body of a dancer, and I'm not.
What's like the body of a dancer?
I mean, when you think of like the male dancer, it has to be a dude that's tall and bigger, someone that can lift girls, someone that if you're in a ballet company, you know what I mean, like it's the guy that's out there that's lifting the girls above his head. I can do all the tricks, I can do all the stuff, I can turn forever, whatever, but no, that's the type of look that they want, even my high school dance teacher told me, like, Nico, I don't think a ballet company is in your future. And like that, bro.
It's straight shit. You go
straight.
Like that.
But like, but that's what's so important though, is that like, because he knew that I wanted this to be a living. And shout out to Mr. Robinson. Mr. Robinson, you are my inspiration, man, and I can't thank you enough. And this guy is like, he's like my mentor, and his teachings still stick with me to this day. But like, he was real with me. But he told me, like, there are different things that you can do as a dancer, as an actor, as a singer that you can do to make a living in the arts. So I tried to just do that, and I auditioned. I applied for a bunch of colleges. I wanted to go to UC Irvine because there were hella Asians.
So that was your first choice.
UC Irvine was my first choice. I was like, yes, Asians, holler, I'm in. I didn't think I was gonna get into UCLA. I also actually got into University of the Arts in Philadelphia. I got a full ride to there for dance.
Nice.
My dad was like, I was talking to my dad about it, and he goes, Nico, you know the movie Rocky, right? I'm like, yeah, I love Rocky. He goes, that's Philly. And I was like, oh.
It's cold there.
Yeah, I'm from the West, and I'm from the West. I haven't been out of California yet. So I was like, you know what? I got into UCLA. I applied, I auditioned, I got into UCLA.
Nice.
And that was a school that I was like, I'm never gonna get in that school. You know what I mean? I was like, that's just something.
You're shooting for the stars.
Bro, like it's UCLA. I was like, that's school full of like super smart people. I graduated 4.15 with in high school.
Yeah, that's some Filipino stuff.
Bro, you have to. You
get a B,
you get a B, you get a spanking, man. You don't get dinner. Yeah. But no, I chose UCLA, and for me too is because I wanted to go to a school that was close to where I wanted to live my life after college. I thought my life was gonna be working on set, being an actor, dancing on all these TV shows and doing all that stuff. So I did my 4 years at UCLA, still auditioned, had a great time at UCLA.
So what did you major in when you were in?
I got a BA in it's World Arts and Cultures with a dance concentration. World Arts and Cultures. We call it WAC.
Is it whack?
It is whack. My major is whack. No, it's. I think it's still constantly changing. It was the way that they sold me on it was like, we don't train. We're not trying to educate the next dancer. We're trying to educate the next directors of programs. We're trying to educate the people that are actually gonna like make a difference. Exactly, like make a difference. And that to me, I was like, yes, this is exactly what I want to do. When I told them when I interviewed after my audition, I told them what I eventually want to do is I do want to come back to my community, and I want to provide something I want to give back to my community. There's not that much, I guess you can say, like art institutes or art anything here in my community very much. And so I want to be the person that brings art into like underserved neighborhoods. I want to go to those schools that most people don't want to go to, because that's untapped potential there. Those kids are those kids are talented. Those kids, they just need a chance. They just need the right mentor. They just need someone. And so I want to be that person that goes into my community and actually makes a difference. So that's what I told the college, and that's what I still plan on doing once I'm done with all the things that I'm doing in my life. So I went to UCLA, audition, and so once I graduated, I stayed in LA for an extra 3 years. So graduated from UCLA at 2011. That makes me 31 years old. My birthday was actually November 29th. So, thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. So I stayed in LA. I was dancing on a TV show called Shake It Up with Bella Thorne and Zendaya. So I danced on that show. I did a bunch of episodes on that. I was on a TV show called Awkward on MTV.
Awkward? What the heck?
I played the Asian girl's fake boyfriend. Jessica Hughes, shout out, what's up? I played her boyfriend. And I was on what else was I on? I did a bunch of just random stuff while I was out there. But so after that, I went on a random, really non-union tour of a Disney show. And so I went to
non-union tour.
Yes. So by non-union, I mean that we're not protected by any union. So they can have you working. So I'm part of a union called Equity. Now.
Okay.
Yep. And so our schedule is we do 8 shows a week. That's
8 shows.
8 shows a week.
Okay.
So we have 5 days of one show. No, I'm sorry. We have 4 days of one show days, and then we have 2 days where we do 2 shows a day. So and we're protected by that. The union protects us. We have to do 8 show weeks, and that's our special.
Guaranteed work.
Guaranteed work, and it's guaranteed protection.
Okay.
We have to have breaks. We have to have certain things. When I say non-union, we have to have like a 10-minute break in a rehearsal. There's things like that. Now, when I say non-union, we don't have the luxury of certain things. We were doing 16 show weeks.
They didn't give you any water.
Exactly, bro. They had it, but they didn't have to. But we were doing 16 show weeks, bro. 16 shows in a week, man. And so we would do a show at 10 o'clock in the morning, a show at 1 o'clock p.m., and then another show at 6, bro. That shit was difficult. But the caveat was I was in Spain, Italy, and Turkey. Okay. So I went through Spain.
How was those experiences?
Okay,
we're gonna backtrack a little bit. I want to know about those places. I never been to any of those places.
So I love every single one of those places, man. Spain, bro. I don't know why we don't have siesta time here in the States, man.
What does that mean?
So they just shut down everything. They shut down everything for a couple hours, just so that everyone. So restaurants, offices, buildings, they just shut down.
So legit businesses.
They just shut down for a couple hours throughout the day, and people and those workers, they just get a break. They get a legit break, and then
how long?
A couple hours, bro.
Yo, that's kind of crazy.
Right, bro? Imagine cutting hair from whatever you cut. You start cutting at 9, right?
Yeah.
And then you just shut down from 11 to 4.
I think American people would be more productive.
Bro, you shut down from 11 to 4, and then you cut hair from 4 to 9 or 4 to 10 or whatever. You know what I mean? You still getting whatever, but they just shut down and they just rest, bro. That was amazing.
Do you think they're more productive that way?
I mean, what I will speak on was that. The people in Spain, the people in Italy were amazing. They were beautiful. I loved every minute I spent there. They were some of the nice people there. I do feel like there is something to that. There is something to. I feel like in America we live to work.
Oh yeah, no,
we live to work, and I feel like in other places they work to live.
Okay.
And that's a totally different mindset. You know what I mean? People in my field. Every actor that's watching this, every dancer that's watching this right now, they know exactly what I'm talking about right now. We all live right now to get that paycheck. We live to get the exposure. We live we live to work because in that work you get the paycheck. In that work you get the exposure. You get the experience. You get the connections. But I feel like in other parts of the world, they work to freaking live their lives, man. They work to enjoy themselves. And that's kind of where I'm at in my life right now. I was trying to find that
balance.
The balance of, because when I get in that mode of working, I'm nonstop, bro. I'm nonstop. I'm in this dance studio every fucking day, every day, working.
But why is that? Why do you think you have that type of mentality when you start working? It's like, yo, I'm just gonna grind it out and like, not stop.
It's kind of the thing where it's like, once you stop, you don't stop. For me at least, like I feel like once I'm on a roll, once I'm doing something, once I'm focused on one thing, I don't stop until I complete it, until I get what I want. I have this like drive that like, there's no other choice for me. Like I was talking about the reason why I chose the career path that I chose, it's because I had no other option. I had no other choice. This was all I was good. This is what I'm good at. This is what my parents and I spent thousands of dollars on, hundreds of thousands of dollars on.
So they were very supportive when you chose, like, I don't want to be an engineer, I don't want to be a nurse, like typical Filipino shit.
Yes, my parents.
I'm gonna be a dancer. So, like, hell yeah.
So exactly, bro. My parents are first.
Shout out to mom and dad.
They'll come out. I'm sure they'll come out here in a little bit to meet you. But no, they're first generation. They were born here. They're military kids. They're military kids. So I'm second generation born here. My parents did not speak Tagalog to me. My mom does not have an accent. My mom does not have a thick Filipino. My dad does not have a thick Filipino accent. My dad and I don't eat fish.
Yo, you're not Filipino, bro.
I know, bro. That's just like, it's just not in me, man. I just can't do it.
I understand. This is what you grew up in.
Call me a coconut. Call me whatever the hell it is, bro. Call me whatever it is, but no, man. Like, but no, so what got me through that tour while I was in Spain, Italy, and Turkey was like, not only was it just like amazing to get those experiences of going to all these countries, like eating spaghetti in front of the Vatican, like the heck, man, like that shit was so dope. I fell in love with Istanbul, Turkey. Like I didn't think I would ever go to Istanbul, but like I love that place. Like once things chill out and calm down there, and all the wars and all that stuff, like I'd want to go back there, bro. I want to spend time and like actually spend.
Yes.
I mean I did, but like there's so much more I want to do over there. But what got me through that was knowing that this isn't the end of my career. Like this is just, I'm still starting. I was barely 21 when I did that. You know what I mean? Like I was still a baby on that tour. So once I got off that tour, I went back to LA. I auditioned for a show called Newsies.
Oh shit.
So it was already on Broadway. I saw a clip of this show.
First of all, like, why did you want to audition for that specific Broadway?
Yes.
Newsies.
So I saw a clip of this show from the Tony performances. So the Tonys, if you're watching this, you know what the Tonys are. Tonys are essentially like the Oscars for Broadway.
Okay.
It recognizes all the Broadway shows, and Newsies in, what was it, 2012, or I think it was 2012, but I was in Turkey and I saw their performance from the Tony Awards, and there were boys that were my height, and I know you can't see this right now, but I'm really tall. I'm like 6. I'm playing. I know you're watching right now. You're like, damn, man. I bet you not.
So straight, man. So
I know, for real, right? No. But so there were boys on that clip that were my height. You know, I think the tallest newsie at that moment was like 5'10", and like they were all under that. There were Asians on that stage.
It's really rare to have Asians in Broadway in general.
Exactly. So it was.
If it's not an Asian Broadway.
So
you know what I mean?
My Kuya Aaron Albano, he
shout out to Kuya, bro.
Yep. Shout out to Kuya. He's a Broadway vet, and he was in the show, and he's been on Broadway. He's done so much, and I saw him, and then this guy named Alex Wong, who was on So You Can Dance. He was a newsie, and I saw them, and I was like, oh, representation. There's Asians.
Kinda like me.
There's Asians on stage right now. I could see myself doing this. I want to do this. Because the first show I ever saw in New York was a show called Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. And all I saw, I was like, man, I could dance like that. I could do all that choreography. Mm-hmm. But all those dudes, they're white, they're Caucasian, they're African American, and they're all 6 feet and above, and they're ripping muscles. And I'm like, there's no place for me on this stage right now. There's no place. And I'll touch on it more, but
like that could be intimidating, no?
It's very intimidating, man. Like to see that, and I remember watching that show and just being so excited, and like so excited to watch that show, Priscilla, but then having my dream shattered at the same moment, being like, I could never be on Broadway.
It's like, okay, so in that instant, when you see stuff like that, I'm assuming they're looking for certain roles or certain people to fit those characters. Right?
Exactly. So this is something that, thank goodness, I mean, like, not thank goodness for 2020, but like, what I am grateful for is that it allowed us to kind of just sit and really look at the climate of what's going on in the world right now. To look at what's going on in our specific industry, especially in the arts, and seeing how it's very white centric. What a lot of me and my friends we talk about are that it's shows that are created by white people, directed and produced by white people, casted by white people, for a white audience, portrayed by white actors. They don't call Broadway the great white way for no reason. You know what I mean?
They call it that?
That's what great white stuff, whatever it is, but that's, and I mean, I know that that's not what they intended it to reference, but like it technically is. But for me to watch that show at that time, I was like, man, like I can't do this. But so for me, when I saw Newsies, I was like, man, there's kids that look just like me. There's boys on that stage that look like me. They're my height. So when I auditioned for the show, so equity shows like that. So I talked about my union, equity, Actors Equity. So shows like that every 6 months are required to audition in New York, and also sometimes they go around the country and sometimes even around the world, and they audition just in different cities to see the talent there. So luckily they were doing an audition in LA, and I went. And they kept me till the very end. They just wanted to see what I was doing. This was back in 2012. And I heard that Alex Wong was leaving the show. And so I immediately after that audition, because they kept me till the very end, just me, the associate and the casting director, and I called my friend in New York and I was like, hey, did they cast someone to replace Alex Wong? He goes, yeah, they casted someone 2 weeks ago already. And I was like, damn it. So I did my due diligence. I sent a letter to the casting agency. Shout out Chelsea Casting. Sent a letter to them just saying like, thank you so much for having me. The audition. I had a great time. If there's anything that you see me that I can be in the future that you're casting, please reach out to me. This is my information.
Yeah.
So LA's rough. So at that time, like I said, I was living in LA. Stayed an extra 2 years. So after that audition, I stayed in LA until 2014, and I was at a crossroads. I was like, you know what? It's not happening for me in LA. I can't keep going to these Justin Bieber auditions where there's 1,000 people at this call and they're only gonna choose their friends.
Damn.
I can't.
Is that industry always like, or is it majority like that?
It's with, like, I will say, to be real, and I'm gonna be real on your podcast.
Let's do it. You got to, man.
Sometimes it is who you know. Sometimes it's who you chill with.
That's also in any industry, I think. You know what I mean, right? So
you're 100. Like, I'm sure it's the same in yours. You know what I mean? I'm sure that any barbershop isn't just gonna hire any barber.
That's true.
I'm sure they're gonna be like, oh, I have a homie that's really good, but he's also down and he's chill and yeah, like he likes the same things you like or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever. But I will say that a lot of the things that I did in LA that I booked, it was because I made a really good connection. And the one thing I will say to young actors and young people out there right now is that you want to be someone that is easy to work with. You want to be someone that you can go to work with, but at the same time, the director, the choreographer, whoever it is that's above you, they also want to go out and have a meal with you after rehearsal. In a professional manner, you know what I mean?
Some people can't distinguish themselves, or some people just doesn't have that personality or traits to do that, you know, right?
No, they don't. And that's the thing. Is that when we're putting a show together, sometimes you're spending 6 months, years with the same people. Fuck. You don't want to spend years with people you don't like. You don't want to create something with people you don't like.
Think
or you
about
can't
it.
Stand.
People are 9 to 5 right now doing whatever job.
Yeah.
There were people in there for like 5, 6, 7 years. You know what I'm saying? So how do you like?
For me, it's
avoid that, or not avoid that. Like create a better environment for yourself.
I mean, for me, it's just I just think about the type of leader that I want to be, the type of people that I want to surround myself with.
Okay. No, that makes perfect sense.
For me, I want to be around people that are easy to work with, that I can count on, but also people that, they'll challenge me, but they don't just give criticisms, they also give solutions. I hate people that always are like, oh, why don't you, or like that always just complain, but they never come back with like, oh, well, you know what? I don't like how you did this. Maybe you should actually, but you know what? Let's try this instead. I always think that there should if you're gonna give critiques, you should always come back with a solution too, or just some sort of an idea to bring to the table, you know. And that's the type of people that I want to work with. So that's the type of person that I want to be.
Because that's real constructive criticism.
Exactly.
At that point, right?
Exactly. It's not just shitting on someone. You know?
And that shit happens all
the time. And that shit happens all the time. But for me, so when I'm in a room, I try to be, you know, I do my job. I go there. If they ask me a question, I answer the question. Once I make that relationship that, you know, the director wants to hear what I want to say, then if he actually wants to hear what I want to say, or he or she wants to hear what I want to say, then I'll say it. Mm-hmm. But I'll say it in a way that's like
not disrespectful,
right? Because you never want to be disrespectful in any sort of line of work. You know what I mean? Like, this is someone's passion. Even if they're a freaking manager at McDonald's or whatever, it doesn't matter. This is their passion. This is their job. This is what they do for a living. And not talking down on anyone who's a manager at McDonald's, because that's a legit job. Any job right now is legit. You know what I mean? Get that money, yo. Like, yo, you can be, as long as you have passion for what you're doing, that's all that matters. You know, it just.
I truly believe that.
If you have passion for what you're doing and you love what you're doing and you're doing it, like, bro, that's all that matters. So a lot of my work in LA happened because, you know, I was nice. I did my job. I left. If they said, Nico, we need you to jump high, I'm like, how high you want me to jump? We need you to do a turn, how many turns do you want? You know, like, if they say, Nico, we need you to fix something, we need you to fix this. I make that correction right away. That's the type of people that I want to surround myself with. That's the person that I'm going to be. So,
be like a role model.
Exactly. That's
being an example for others too.
Exactly.
Without even like trying to be.
Exactly. You know, when I show up on a job, I try to show up and be that professional person because, you know, someone's watching you. There's someone always watching you. Whether it be they're there to like, whether it be someone that's younger than you that's watching you, they're watching you and they're trying to learn from you. You know, I hope that when I do it, when I'm working and there's young kids with me, I hope that they see and I hope that I continue to do it. Like, I'm holding myself accountable of it, but like I hope that I can continue to be professional in that manner.
And that's a big accountability.
You
that shit, like,
yep.
No one, when I say no one, a lot of people don't want to be accountable for their actions, or for what they do, for what they say, for anything, man. That's crazy, but that's so important. That's so fucking important.
It's super important, man. Like, if you make a mistake, if I make a mistake and I do something, if I flub a line on stage, if I let my castmate down on stage, I will take full blame for it. You know what I mean? I will say, that was on me. I'm sorry I was not there for you. That was on me. That will never happen again.
I mean, there's no other way about it. And it's like you said, like, so if someone did like do a mistake or miss a cue or miss a line, and the fact that they would blame that on someone else or
it's like
blame it to something or not even someone or something else, like, bro, come on, man.
Just own up to it. Just own up to it and just say, yes, that was on me. Never happen again. You know. So luckily, that's been instilled with me when I was in LA, and then so I was at a crossroads. I was like, I'm tired of this LA thing. I'm gonna go home to San Diego, and I'm just gonna figure this out. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life.
Oh shit.
So 2014, I get an audition. I get an email from Telsey saying, hey Nico, we want to see you in New York to audition for the Newsies tour.
Oh wow.
In a month. And I was like, oh crap. Okay, all right. So for a month, bro, I put myself through hell. I freaking put myself through my own training camp.
Really?
Every day.
So what did your training camp include?
So every day, bro. So every day I was in LA. I would go. I still had to make money. Went to work.
Oh shit.
So
you go to work as well? Like,
I was working at the UCLA textbook store. I call myself the UCLA textbook bitch. No. Yes, UCLA textbook bitch. Yes, because I did everything at UCLA. Ask me anything about textbooks, I probably know the answers to it.
Wow.
Textbook buyback. Yep, and I was the textbook bitch. So that was my job. I went there every morning. Whatever. And then as soon as I was done with that, went home, took a 20-minute nap, went straight to ballet class. No. I'm sorry. I went to yoga. So I was a yogi. I was in LA, typical LA person.
Hell yeah, avocado toast.
Hell yeah, bro. Avocado toast with the egg on top and sprinkle some of that, the red chili flakes on that. Oh, bro, yes.
That sounds kind of good, I ain't gonna lie.
Yo, bro, and then break that shit so the yolk just, oh, man. Okay, anyway, so it was yoga. After that, went straight to ballet class. Right after ballet class, I went straight to the gym and lifted. That was every day. For a month.
So yoga was your idea to help you in this audition?
Yoga, because so what I tell people for me is that if you can get through an hour and a half yoga class, and for those who have not taken like a hot yoga class or anything like that, I challenge you to do it, because if you're gonna sit here and be like, oh, but that's not hard, like, yo, that's why Kevin Love did it. Bro, that's why Kevin Love dropped all that weight and Kevin Love was killing it. That's why Kevin Love has a ring, yo. Kevin Love does yoga. Like all those athletes now, they do yoga.
I've heard like NFL athletes be doing yoga.
Yes, bro.
Ballet or something like that too, because it's in their footwork.
Kobe, my hero, R.I.P. Kobe, I love you.
R.I.P.
Tap dancer. He did that. He was a tap dancer. That helped him with his ankles. That helped him strengthen his ankles.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
That's kind of crazy.
Yo, yeah. I read his book and talks about taking tap classes. Yoga was a way for me to center myself. Yoga was a way for me to I told myself, if I can make it through an hour and a half long yoga class where I'm sweating and I'm freaking holding these positions, holding in farts so I don't make a fool of myself. If I'm like, if I can make it through this yoga class, man, I can make it through anything in life. And that's how I looked at it, man. If I could, and I was like, I just want to push my body. And I saw, every day, work, yoga, ballet class, and then I went to the gym and worked out. And then
for a month straight.
And at the same time, I was also taking voice lessons again, just to work on my voice, because I had to sing. And I was like, I gotta keep that up, So did that. Flew to New York. This Newsies, and I don't know if you're like, Newsies is like the show that, like, back in the day, there's a show called Cats.
Yeah, Cats. That was like been there forever.
Cats is the show that was like, if you're a dancer and a chorus line and things like that, where it's a heavy dance show, especially for boys, Newsies was that show where it's like, you're gonna get the best dancers from around the country coming to audition for this show.
Around the country, wow.
Around the country, yo. So I flew to New York. Newsies was my first New York audition, which is pretty much like saying, like, I'm literally just gonna throw you to the wolves. So
that makes sense.
I had been to New York once before. So this is like my second time ever being in New York. Went to New York, stayed on a friend's couch, and took the subway, went down to the audition, and walked up there, and there were just boys, like hundreds of dudes up there.
Okay, so backtrack a little bit, Nico. So
yes.
How were you feeling leading up to that audition before you went to New York? Or like, you know what I mean? Like,
I always,
like, how did, like, internally, or like what was your mind frame at, or like what did you do to psych yourself? Like, yo, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get this.
Bro, okay, this is my Olympics. This was the Olympics for me.
Oh shit, okay.
This is how I trained for it, because to me, this was my livelihood. It wasn't happening in LA for me anymore. Mm-hmm. It wasn't happening anymore. I decided, I was like, I'm gonna move home and I'm gonna just figure it out. I don't know what it is I'm gonna do with my life yet. So I really did put all my eggs in one basket when it came to Newsies. Damn. So it was like, I'm training for this. I'm booking this. Because if I don't book this, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back to school, get a master's, or like get a 9-to-5 here in San Diego.
But you didn't really want to do that anyway.
I didn't want to.
That was okay.
That was not in it for me, man, bro. So that was my mindset. So when I got to New York, it was like, it was game time, bro. I was like, I'm at the NBA combine right now, bro. I'm about to run the shuttles. I'm about to run all the drills. Like, I've been training my whole life for this.
Oh, that's crazy. That sounds crazy,
bro. I was in full on beast mode. I was in full on kill mode when I got there, bro. I was like, I had the blinders on. I was like, I gotta book this. So again, like I said, the Newsies was a show. Every boy, girl, even girls, they all want to be in the show. I remember a girl showing up to audition and they weren't allowing her to audition because the Newsies, unfortunately, it was an all boy ensemble, Mm-hmm. But now there's productions around the country and they have girl Newsies now, which is so dope. I love seeing that shit. So shout out to all those companies that are doing that now. I love seeing all the girl Newsies. It's amazing. But So I got up to the audition holding room, and I was terrified, bro. I was like, all these boys in here are like freaking like, I was like, yo, the talent in this room right now, you could cast this show 20 times because there's that much talent in the room. So what I felt I had going for me was that no one in this room knows who the hell I am.
So that's a good thing?
I felt that was a good thing. For me, I took that as like, this is a good thing, Nico. No one knows who you are. You literally could go in there and you can suck and nobody knows, but like you can go in there and like there's no expectations.
Ah, okay.
There's no expectation. You know what I mean? When you walk in, if you walk in a room and you're LeBron James, if you walk on a court, they're expecting you to put a 30. They're expecting you to put a 30, 11, and 8. You know what I mean? They're expecting that from you.
Yeah, that's true.
When I walk in there, they're not expecting anything from me. So the pressure was off. So I went in there and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go in there. I'm just gonna fuck shit up.
That's a crazy ass way to think about it, right?
Bro, I was like, yeah, exactly. I was like, I'm not Kobe Bryant walking in the room. They don't know who I am in here. Like, I'm just about to go in here and they're gonna.
They're about to find out
who I am. Exactly. So I walked in there and I remember like we did the audition combo after doing it, and I remember people were like, I remember boys on the side, and the one thing I love about New York auditions is that they are so supportive in the room. Even though we are all competing with each other, they will give you your props. If you go in the room and you kill it in that audition room, New York people, they give you your daps. They let you know what's up. They let you know.
They'll tell you if you suck too.
They just won't say anything to you. They just won't say. They'll just be like, But no, if you kill it in the room, they let you know and you feel the love. People after the first time I danced, they were like, who the hell is this little Filipino kid in this room right now?
Hell yeah.
Like literally, dude. Like I remember just people being like, and so I danced and then I made it past the first day. Made it past the first day of cuts. Had to show up the next day. This next audition, so like, I have never been more terrified in my entire life walking into audition room.
Damn.
Bro, so Alan Menken, the guy that writes all the music for all of Disney, was in the room.
Oh shit!
Jack Feldman, the dude that wrote one of my favorite Disney movies, a Goofy movie.
Oh wow.
He was in the room. The guy that runs fucking Disney theatricals, Thomas Schumacher, love you, bro. I love that man. He was in the room. The directors, the choreographers, the choreographer that won a Tony for his choreography for Newsies was in the room watching me dance.
So how many people were left at this? For
the second part, I think there may have been like 30 of us left. There may have been like maybe 100 to 200 the first day, and they cut it down.
That's more than half.
Yeah,
holy shit.
They cut it down a lot. And so that first day was like singing. It was dancing and singing. The second day was another dance call. Then they had us tap, and then we had to sing and read lines.
So how did it feel like performing in front of those people, that type of caliber people? Like
it was something that I mean, in LA you feel that, but for some reason in New York it's just amplified. It was so much more amplified. It was just so much more like, I felt so much more pressure. I had to seriously put on Mamba. I had to do Mamba mentality, literally. Just be like,
I love these basketball references.
Bro,
awesome.
basketball's my shit. So I had to just seriously just go in there and just like act like this is my audition. I'm gonna book this shit. Like I literally walked in there. I was like, I'm gonna book this over everyone in here. I don't care. That was my mentality, even though I was terrified. So in that room, man, I freaking just like once the music came on and I started dancing, I was like
tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision, bro.
Like go.
Tunnel vision, go. And I was like, I always say this, but like, you know, I felt like in that audition, all the years, all the money that my parents and I put into my craft, that was all put on display for that audition, you know. And so got past the dancing, then I had to sing and act in front of.
Oh shit.
So that's when I walked in the room, I was like, they were all just like, so for the first part for the dancing and singing, like they're in front of you, but like they're kind of like spread out. The cast of people, they're all kind of spread out around the room. There's a group in the front, but like once I walked in to sing and read my lines for them was when I was like, whoa, because they're all just sitting at a table, and there were like 2 rows of people in the room just like staring at you. And I was like,
you could feel the eyes.
You could just feel it. So I walked in there and I was like, all right, you know what? Here we go. Let the personality come out. Sang my song, said a couple jokes, and then I did my lines. And I'm just like, and I don't mind to toot my own horn, but I'm a pretty funny dude. So I'm just like, you know what? Like, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be funny. And I did my lines. I made them laugh, and I said some jokes after, and I walked out of the audition being like, you know what? I did everything I could. Did everything I could in the audition. I don't regret anything I did in there. I feel good about it. Mm-hmm. And so something that I also do is that I was born and raised Catholic. When I say born, I was baptized Catholic. My faith is something that right now, like, it disappeared from me when I was, I was confirmed. I did confirmation. I did CCD, all that. Typical all that stuff,
Wow.
But I will say that when I got to college, it disappeared, And
what do you mean
in high school,
it
just wasn't something that was of importance to me.
A religion or just
religion. It just wasn't. I didn't go to church. I was. Rarely went to church. I mean, I went and got ashes on Ash Wednesday.
Why did that why did you have a falling off with, I guess?
It was
religion.
I've always had faith. I always called myself a Catholic. It just wasn't of importance.
So you didn't practice it?
I didn't practice it. Okay. I wasn't practicing. But something that came back to me when I got back from my European tour was my faith came back to me because in my line of work, it's so inconsistent. The life of an actor, the dancer, is so inconsistent. But something that is constant is my faith. Going to church every Sunday is constant for me. It's something for me that's routine. It's something for me that felt like home. It's someplace for me where for an hour. Something for me for an hour of my week, I could feel at peace. So I went back to that. And so right after my audition for Newsies, I went straight to St. Patrick's Cathedral and I prayed. I was like, please God, I really need this job. I really, really need this job. So I left. So after that, I went back to my friend's apartment, went on his couch. And the next day after that, my agent emailed me and said, hey, Nico, we don't have an official offer yet, but it looks like you're going to book the job.
Nice.
So I left New York kind of with a job. I flew back kind of with a job.
Really?
Kind of, not really. I flew back to San Diego, hung out here. I had already moved back home to San Diego from LA again. 2 days later, after being in San Diego, I was in the studio working out, of course. And my agent called me and I got the call that said I booked the job.
Dope.
And I was like, bro, my life is finally like kind of set here. Like, this is the first time in my life where I feel like, not the first time, but like this was the first time where I actually felt like as an adult that I have a career. I have some sort of a trajectory. I know where my life is going. You know what I mean? Like, we all have that moment in life when in our mid-20s or early 20s where we're just like, once we get out of college or school or high school, whatever it is, we're like, what the hell are we gonna do with our life?
No, that's true.
And this was the first time in my life where I actually felt like, oh, I know what my calling is. I know what I'm going to be doing for the next how many years of my life.
So this is just like speculation now. So
no, please.
If you never made that audition, or if you do you think you would have continued becoming as a dancer, singer? Right?
I don't know.
Or would you be like, oh, fuck, I'm just gotta go back to the drawing board and do something else?
Honestly, man, I was already about to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah?
I was already about to be like, I'm going back to the drawing board, already gonna try and figure this out. I don't know what the hell it is I'm gonna do. I had no idea. I literally had no idea what it was I was gonna do.
That's crazy.
No clue. Which is sad because that's a lot of kids.
That's true. That's what I'm asking. That happens, right?
And it's not even people in my profession. It's in every profession. You know, it's a kid that graduates with a degree in electrical engineering, and they're applying for every job that they can, and they're like, and they can't get a job, and so we're all second guessing ourselves. You know what I mean? We all don't understand. We all think we understand the value of having a degree, but we actually don't once you graduate. You know, we don't understand. This degree actually, it should help you it should help you, but sometimes it just doesn't, you know? And so but like I said, man, like this was the first time in my life where I was like, wow, like that degree, everything, it's all making sense, you know? So again, once I booked that job, it was back to the fucking training camp, man. Like for 3 months, we couldn't say anything about booking the job. Couldn't say anything.
Really?
Because so the Broadway show was still happening.
And this is for the next, I guess.
And so this was for the tour. This is for the so I booked the national tour. So it was a completely different cast, completely different everything. We couldn't announce that we had booked this, you know?
Okay.
And so I was just at home training my ass off because I knew how physical the show was. I knew how crazy it was going to be. I was singing again every day. I was working, getting my body ready for this. Because not only was it going to be had the physical aspect of doing the show, it was going to be touring too, man. Like
the mental,
like traveling, getting on a plane, and then you know, sometimes getting on a bus, traveling to another city, and then doing the show that same day. Sometimes it was like that.
So I know the job is physically demanding already.
Yes.
So the mental aspect of it, how can you describe how did it affect you?
Yes.
Like during a tour and stuff like that.
So the one thing, so there's a couple things with that. So we didn't understand the amount of popularity that all of us were gonna get from the show.
Yeah.
So Newsies. So if you don't know, Newsies was a film back in '92, I think '92, with Christian Bale. I think it was.
He was a kid in that movie.
Christian Bale was the original Jack Kelly. And so Newsies has had a cult following for years. Since then. So when Newsies came back in 2012 or when the Broadway happened, people were flipping their shit. People were freaking out because this has been a show that people have grown up loving.
Yes, I could see that, yeah.
And so when the first original Broadway Newsies came out, they were like gods to everybody, you know? Like people were like, oh my gosh. And so when the tour cast came in and they announced, I remember being up in, there's a place called New 42 in New York. It's on 42nd Street, literally in the middle of Times Square on 42nd Street. All the shows rehearsed here. So on one floor you'll have Hamilton, on another floor you'll have Wicked, on another floor you'll have whatever. Like
that's a lot of talent just in building.
And so there's just these shows on every floor rehearsing. You know what I mean? Most of the Broadway shows rehearse in this place. So I remember walking in that building, being like, wow, I can't believe I'm in this room right now. Below me there's, I don't know what shows rehearsing below me, but I remember being in there. And so I remember going up into like the dressing room, like locker room area, and they had just announced the tour cast. They just announced us. And I remember putting my phone down, and I remember right after they announced it, looking at my phone and just seeing my notifications just blow up of people following me, commenting on my status or commenting on my Instagram, just gaining all these like thousands of followers in one day.
Wow.
And for me, like I was 24 at the time when that happened. So like I was past, like, you know, I had gone to college. So like my college days were behind me. You know what I mean? In college, we all do dumb, like I'm shocked that I'm still alive after all the dumb stuff that I've done in college. You know what I mean, bro? Like
you're meant to be here, man.
You know what I mean? Like I'm surprised my liver is still working the way it's supposed to be working after college. But no, like I remember just like putting my phone down and being like, whoa, I was not prepared for this. You know what I mean? So mentally, that's something that all of us had to kind of just, okay, this is part of our life now. This is real. This is real. D- celebrities at this moment now. D-, yo. And then and that was part of it. You know what I mean? And like from there, it's like mentally, it's just, you know, when you get on when you travel somewhere, when you know you're going on a road trip, when you have to prepare for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's me every week. We would do week-long sit-downs, and then we would get on a bus or a plane on the Monday, travel on Monday, get in a hotel on Monday, and then wake up on Tuesday and do the show in a new city. You know what I mean? We had a 2-month-long sit-down in Toronto. Shout out Drake. 6 dot, baby. But no, like we would travel every week, and that's something that my body had to be prepared for. That's something mentally I had to be prepared for, you know? It was a lot. It was a lot, and our show in general was just very taxing on the body. I unfortunately suffered a lot of injuries during that tour.
Really?
I suffered a lot of injuries, and I took some time off from that tour because of the physical toll it took on my body. And that was, and you know what? That's on me. That's on me for, you know, like I look back now and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I could have done some things differently. I could have hit the weight. You know, you hear stories of like after a game, Chris Paul going into the weight room and lifting weights, and he does that specifically because he know his muscles need that, and it's a recovery process. That's something that if they ever brought Newsies back at a point where I could do Newsies again on Broadway, that's something that I would implement on my life. I would hire a nutritionist. I would hire a dietitian. I'd hire a personal trainer to help me with my body. Because, you know, LeBron has a hyperbaric chamber that he sleeps in every day.
It's fucking crazy.
You know what I mean? But you know what? But you know what? Shout out to him, bro. He's about to be playing in the league till he's 50 if he wants to, because he invests in his body. And that's something that I wish that I had done. I wish that I had invested in my body, because my body is my temple, my body is my tool, my body is my instrument, my body is everything. So that's something that I wish that I would have done, you know, but no, like mentally too, man, like to come back from injury, to know that like, oh crap, like I hurt myself doing this one move the last time I did this. Mentally, you have to get over that.
Yes.
Mentally, you got to get over that. Be like, you know what? This audience is here. They had more than half of this audience has never seen the show before, and you have to do this. And something that I carry with me even more now that I was slowly learning to carry while I was on tour was that whole representation thing for me. You know, there's kids out there that would watch the tour in, I don't know, in Cleveland, Ohio, and they'd see the show in Cleveland, Ohio, and they'd see the Filipino kid on stage, and that Filipino kid in the audience would see me, and they'd say,
resonate with them, right?
And they'd be like, wow, that's me on stage right now. I can do this.
I don't need to be a freaking engineer.
Exactly. Their parents can watch it and say, okay, good. There's someone out there that looks like you that's doing this. Okay, all right. And I still carry that with me, you know what I mean? Like, that's something that's so important to me, and that's why I still work so hard to this day.
That's awesome. That's like Black Panther for African Americans.
Bro.
I'm not saying you're Black Panther, but like I could
shout out Chadwick, man.
The impact could be like to that, because like I don't like, even until now, you don't see Filipino Americans on TV dominating like that. You don't see them in movies dominating like that. You don't.
Yep.
So like the little stairs and each ladder we climb is just, you know, and you're part of that spearhead. That's kind of fucking dope.
It's
dope,
cool. And I've met people now that are just jumping in on the audition game that are Asian, and I've never considered myself to be that type of role model. But I've met people that are in audition rooms, and they tell me like, I just needed to tell you, Nico, that. And so Newsies now. So we did the tour, and we actually filmed Newsies, and we made it, and we did our film version. It's a movie, and it was out in movie theaters, and so it was out in movie theaters, and it was out on Netflix, and then now it's on Disney Plus. It lives on Disney Plus for the rest of everyone's life now.
Yo.
So
I'm about to put that on.
Yeah, bro, watch it, man.
I just cut that dude's hair.
Yeah, bro. But the thing about it is that, like I said, people now reach out to me and they say, Nico, I watch Newsies, and to see someone like you, that for me was representation. I saw you on stage, I saw you on the movie screen, I saw you on my television screen, I saw you on my laptop, and that for me was enough inspiration for me to realize that, you know what, I can do this, and I'm gonna do it. And it's so heartwarming, and it's so crazy to me that people think that of me. I never thought of myself as that person, but you know, like whenever people come in my studio, I always say like, you know, like if my career was to be done now, I have all these frames on the wall, and my career's good. Like I'm good. Like if I was to retire now, I'm happy with it.
That's dope though. That means you put a good body of work together.
I could teach the rest of my life, and I'd be fine with that. But the reason why I still work hard, and the reason why still, even after this pandemic, I want to go back, and I want to go back to New York. I want to get on Broadway. I want to still do film. I want to make TV. I want to do everything I can, is because the representation is what matters to me. I want kids to see themselves represent on stage. I want them to see them in movie theaters, and if I'm the person that does that, then so be it. You know what I mean? Like if I have to be, if I'm the one that's on stage, that they cast to be the token or whatever, then so be it. That doesn't matter to me, because you know what? The little Asian kid's gonna come to watch that show on Broadway, and they're gonna see themselves on stage, and that's gonna be a completely different paradigm shift, man. And I hope that families now are realizing, like, you know what, they can make a living in the arts. They don't have to just do their typical nurse. They don't have to do that anymore. You know, they can make a living doing. If your kid wants to draw, and if your kid wants to be an artist, let them be an artist, man. Like, let them do it. Like support them. Let them. You never know. You know what I mean? Like, you never know. You never know. They could be the next. They could be the next Banksy. They could be the next whatever. You know, you have to just give them the opportunity to do it. And so that's why I still work as hard as I do now, because I still believe that I still have a lot to give to not only just like the theater and the film, the television. I have so much more to give to the Asian American community. You know, you have things like Crazy Rich Asian that come out, but like, it's such and like, I get what John Chu and them are trying to do, you know what I mean? Like, when people think of Asians on camera or on television or on film, what do you think of? You know what I mean? You think of like Jackie Chan, you think of like, the nerdy Asian guy, or like
karate or some
shit. They're never the love interest. They're never the someone that's like, oh, like, wow, like, oh gosh, I hope that she ends up with that Asian guy. But like, you know what I mean? But like, it's cool to see Harry Shum. It's cool to see Henry Golding. It's cool to see those guys. It's cool to see them, to see that. It's cool to see that on film. Lead romantic characters.
Yes.
It's so dope to see that, because it changes the entire outlook of what an Asian American can do on film.
We were given a stereotype, man. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
So it's cool to see that, and I love that. So and you know, shout out, and like Dante Bosco, freaking Rufio, dude. Zuko, that's my dude. That's my guy, bro. That's my guy. And so to see, and we need more representation like that. We need more of that, and we need that. And I'm hoping to continue that. And like I said, that's why the home workouts never stop. That's why the dancing never stops. 24. That's why the dancing hasn't stopped during this pandemic. Because at some point things are gonna come back, and I have to be ready for it.
So, how, like, knowing that, you know, people do look at you as a role model. So how do you approach work, and how do you approach things, or everyday life now? Like, what do you like? Has your mindset changed?
Yeah.
Knowing that?
Yeah. I mean, it definitely has. It's not that, like, I think I've gone from a D- celebrity to like at least a D+ celebrity at this point. Like, I'm at least on like famous, I'm like celebrity birthdays on that website or whatever at this point now, whatever that.
Yeah.
But
horoscopes.
For real. But I do have a following, and I'm grateful for it. But I am kind of under a microscope now, and I'm grateful for it. And it definitely changes the mindset that I have. It changes the way I view the world. It changes the things that I post. It changes but in a positive way. You know, I hope that when people go onto my page, or they look at the work that I've done, like, I hope that it just brings them like happiness. I hope that when they see myself, they're inspired by it. That's kind of my MO at this point, is to kind of like, you know, to help with social justice, to help with all that stuff, but to also just to like, to be that light that during like the dark times, that they can go on my page and like, oh, you know what, like, Nico brings me happiness, and Nico brings me inspiration, and to get messages from kids saying like, Nico, you know, your performance or whatever you did on Newsies, or seeing your videos on Instagram, or seeing whatever it is, that brings me joy, that inspires me to continue what I'm doing, to continue my line of work. That there's nothing better than that, bro.
That's priceless, right?
It literally means so much to me, man. Like, like when I booked Pretty Woman on Broadway, that was my Broadway debut. When I took that bow on stage, that was like all my life's work just culminating on that stage. When I took that bow, I was like, finally, here we go. You know what I mean? And so, and it's that same feeling whenever I get those messages from people telling me that, Nico, thank you so much for, you know, I was in a very dark place, and watching Newsies and all of you on stage and seeing that, it really helped me get out of that space. And that to me is second to none, man. Like that knowing that I can help someone like that, there's nothing better than that. There's nothing better than that.
That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, man.
That sounds so fucking crazy, bro. That's amazing because, like, off the top, this is because we're just Asian Americans, man. We were just put into some type of box already. Yeah. And our parents, on top of that, put us in some type of box, aunts, uncles, or whatever. But the fact that you're able to think outside the box and be outside that box and wear that stereotype and actually be successful at what you're doing and still continue to be, that in itself, just shows the growth that us as a culture, us as a people in America, how we're doing. You know what I mean?
Man. No, it's true, bro. Like, I appreciate that. It's just it's crazy how things are changing. It's crazy the types of work that's going on right now in the world and all that. But yeah, man, it's so important. It's so important to me, and I've never once like embraced my Filipino identity. I've never once been like, just like I don't know, for some reason, like it just wasn't something that I've ever done. Mm-hmm. But now even more than ever, I'm so proud to say I'm Filipino. I'm Filipino American. I have a little bit of Chinese in me. My parents are military kids. My mom's side of the family is from Cavite City, and my dad's side of the family is from Zambales. And if you don't know where that is, look it up. I'm not ashamed to be like that anymore. I'm not ashamed to say that. Yeah, my grandfathers, they fought in the military. They were chefs in the military. They fought in the world wars, man. They were there, and they're Filipino, and I'm Filipino, and I'm so proud to say that now. And that's something that I've always struggled with when I was younger, but like now I'm like I have no shame saying it. I'm so proud of it.
You see that, kids? You gotta embrace your culture, embrace who you are, embrace your roots. It doesn't necessarily say who you are, but it tells you a lot where you came from, man. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you remember that and you can carry that with you, you don't have to be someone you don't want to be or something that you're not. That's a part of you no matter what, you know?
Yeah, man. No, I always tell kids too, like whenever they ask me for like audition tips or how are you, like how when you were going through that really rough time in your like, and when you were constantly getting told no, what helped? Like honestly, man, it's just like it's the perseverance, and also it's just like being your true authentic self. So whenever people ask me for audition tips, I always tell them, whenever you walk into a room, even in an interview, like you're really good at being yourself. You know what I mean? Like you're really good at being yourself. I'm not good.
You can't be yourself, then you just kind of trash, bro.
Like no one's like I can't like I'm not gonna walk into a room and pretend to be you, bro, because you're the best at being you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When I walk in an audition room, I'm my true 100% authentic self, and that's what people want to book. That's what people want to work with. If they want, and if they don't want to work with your true authentic person, self, whatever it is, then maybe you don't want to be in that room anyways.
That's a big one.
Maybe you don't even want to be in there anyways if they don't respect you and the person you are. But again, if you're also just like a trash person, then like maybe that's on you. But you know,
don't be a trash person.
Don't be a trash person. But no, like I always tell people, like, why do you want to be someone else when you're already so good at being yourself?
Yes.
If you're already so good at being yourself, why do you want to be someone else? So when I walk in the room, I'm myself, man. I walk in there and I'm like, I'm Nico, I'm 5'3", I'm Filipino American, and this is what I do.
That's what you get.
And this is what you get. And if you want to work with me, freak, man, like yeah, hell yeah, let's work. Let's do the work. And I'll give you 100% all the time. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna do my job. I'm genuinely a nice person anyway, so yeah, man, like let's get the work. Let's get to work. But yeah, I always tell people, just be yourself, man. Like you're the best at that. like that, like half the job is done already. You're already yourself. Like that's it. You did most of the work already. Now go in there and show them who you are.
So the closing remarks, like people who are not following traditional paths, like, you know, 9 to 5 corporate stuff, things like that, or following like creative stuff like myself and you.
Yes.
What would be your biggest, I guess, I guess I could say piece of advice
Yeah.
to give them that to stay on path, because I know that's a hard path to be on, and
Yeah, man.
you get discouraged pretty easily, or you can be.
I mean, listen, if you really want to do it, and if you really want to make it work, you're gonna do it. You know what I mean? If you really want to make, if you really want to turn your passion into your work, into your life, then you're gonna do everything possible to make that shit happen. That's just how it is. You gotta work hard at it. I didn't make my Broadway debut till I was 30. Like, I didn't, like, that's just, like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't make my Broadway debut till I was, like, older. And I'm proud of that. Like, a lot of people, it doesn't happen for people right away. And that's okay. Timing is everything, man. Like it all happens when it's supposed to happen.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Timing, it's all, it won't, I don't, honestly, bro, like, I feel like my life, everything that's come to me in my life came to me at the right moment. Came to me at the right time. Came to me when I was mature enough for things to happen. I was mature enough to go on the Newsies tour. I was mature enough to book Broadway. I was mature enough to move to New York. I was mature enough to handle this pandemic. So that's what I say, man. If you really want to make this, if you really want this to happen, you just gotta work at it, stay persistent, but also just know that it's gonna happen when it's meant to happen. That's it. Timing, bro. That's it. And you know how it is. See things happen to you when it's meant to happen.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because people say luck is a big thing, but I don't think luck is a big thing, because if you work hard at it and you're
luck's a little bit. Luck, you need a little bit.
Okay,
you need a little bit.
But if you worked hard, you prepare yourself for that one moment. When you get to that moment, you don't have to fumble, you don't have to stumble. You're like, there it is. I'm ready. I've been ready. I just been waiting for this. But at the same time, it's like chasing dreams can be very stressful. And I think for your example, for you said like, yo, you didn't get your big break till like you got older, but it just goes to show your character that you toughed it out for that long, knowing and still having faith in yourself to continue, man. So, yo, for your young kids out there, young Broadway people, dancers or whatever, this is one of the few stories that you haven't heard, but you heard now. So it's a real thing. Like, just keep chasing, man. Keep chasing, man.
Keep chasing.
And this is fucking Nico. I'm Booby, yo. Closing off.
Peace.
I like how you did the piece underneath the cape.
You can still see it.
Alright, Nico, man.